Welcome home. This is the Residency Podcast. I am Jeff Tomasic with Drew Belcher and Lo Raven.
Yes, sir.
Bringing you the biggest guests and stories in entertainment, business, pop culture, and sports from our studio on the Las Vegas Strip inside the Mandalay Bay. Make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. You know the drill. This episode is brought to you by Mandalay Bay. Wrestling is taking over Mandalay Bay the entire week leading up to Memorial Day weekend.
We gotta go.
We gotta go.
We have to go, dude.
Maybe we'll be in a match. I don't know.
Could you imagine?
Surprise guest. You know what? Anything could happen here. It's Las Vegas. So it's AEW Dynamite on May 25th, AEW Rampage on the 27th, and then the ending with the pay-per-view event, AEW Double or Nothing on May 29th, all at Michelob Ultra Arena. Make sure you guys go check it out. What's their tagline? Get ready for less distraction and more action.
Dude, that was
That's
so
such
good.
a
I thought
hot
you made that
tagline,
up.
dude.
No,
Didn't make
I
it up.
thought So.
And if you need some music and want the ultimate summer vibe, Sublime is headlining Mandalay Beach May 28th and July 2nd.
That's hot.
Relax.
That'll probably be one we want to go to.
That's hot.
At the beach,
Yeah,
shirt
the
off.
beach is so cool.
Very cool venue. As
Little
always.
Michelob Ultra.
Right?
Yeah.
As always, come say what's up at our studio inside the Mandalay Bay Sportsbook anytime. We want to see you guys. Another great episode today.
Yes.
Sorry, we're uploading this one late in the week, but things happen, you know? What can we do? This guy is reinventing how to grow as an independent artist and hopefully changing the game of music. Connor Price, welcome to the show, my
Hey,
man.
what's up?
Welcome, man. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
How's it feel to be a Vegas local?
It's awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah. I am from Canada. My wife and I, Brianna, we've been living here. How long have we been living here? Yeah, 2 years. We rented for a year and then bought our first house, so we're like homeowners, which
Congrats.
is crazy. Thank
Nice,
you.
man.
But we lived in LA the year before, and man, comparing the cost of living of LA and Vegas is insane.
Well, there's a discount here.
Oh, for
right?
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
You pay
Like-
for that nice weather and all that shit in LA.
It's free, essentially. If you want to make it feel better, just move to LA for a year.
Right.
Okay, I'm moving to Vegas. Now I'll go to LA for a year, bait and switch myself, come back, it's free.
Yeah, our rent on our one-bedroom apartment in LA is less than our mortgage on the house here.
There you
Or,
go.
Sorry, it was
more than your mortgage.
Yeah. And so Bree's sister lives out here. So when we lived in LA, we were always driving out here.
Sure.
And we just fell in love with Henderson, and we saw like what they were able to afford with these houses, and it was like, man, what are we doing in LA?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we've been here and we love it.
Awesome.
What do you like better, LA or Vegas? Truthfully.
Vegas.
Okay.
But when I say Vegas, it's like I'm not necessarily one to be on the strip a lot, and
No,
like
never.
yeah. Like I've never gambled a day in my life. But just Henderson is great, and I'm now a dad as of like a month ago. So
Congrats.
Thank you,
Congrats.
thank you.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Dad
And so-
squad.
Right, dad squad.
And
We're
I'm
in it.
definitely outnumbered over here.
Hey, soon, hopefully, right?
Oh,
We'll see.
There's things you got to do to get to that, right?
big asterisk,
That's,
big
a big,
asterisk.
that's a big asterisk.
But yeah, Henderson is great. It feels like a great place to like have a kid, and our neighbors all have young kids, and there's like a school coming up near our house, and so yeah, it feels like the right place to have your to start a family.
It really is. Obviously, I'm Team Vegas and Henderson, I guess, because I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
But I also like LA. But the cost of living and everything out there, dude, I'm give me a week in LA and I'm maxed out.
I feel like you have an opinion. People have an opinion one way or the other. They either say LA is the place to visit and leave, or Vegas is the place to visit and leave.
I know.
You know what I mean? And live.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. And once you're like devout
Yeah.
Vegasy, you're like, I can't live in LA. And then once you're obsessed with LA, you're like, I can't go anywhere else.
For sure, for sure.
I love visiting LA, but living there is like a whole different experience. If it wasn't for having a history of acting and being in LA for so long, being so important, I don't think I ever would have gone to LA to begin with. But sort of for my career, we were out there for a while. But things have changed a lot recently, especially in acting, with everything being self-tape. Where instead of actually going into a room with a casting director, you're just taping from your home and sending it in. And then with COVID happening, there was no in-person auditions, and everything was self-tape. And now all these production companies are realizing they can save so much money by having actors self-tape instead of having to have a casting office and a reader and a camera person, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
That's
actors are now
crazy.
just self-taping, and no one lives in LA anymore. And so many people are moving out.
That's what Jack Martin, who we had on the show, said that he did when he got the show La Brea that he's doing on NBC. He said that he did, and we were flabbergasted.
Yeah,
man.
we were like, how was the
He's
audition
yeah.
process?
He's like, he's like, oh no, I did it on a Zoom.
Yeah. Well,
like,
that's
what?
that's so normal now. Yeah.
You just got an NBC show on Zoom?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's how it works?
Crazy. Yeah, especially now. Totally.
I don't know
That
if
blows
I
my
can get in
mind.
the zone. Like, I feel like you need that.
Yeah,
There-
how do you
there's-
get the energy? How do you get the build-up?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, see,
Look in the mirror, just stare in the mirror like, let's do
There-
this, dude.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons of both because, yes, being in a room, but then, there's so many cons because if you go into a room, so many times I've had an awful reader who doesn't know the lines. They're looking at the ground. It's like you're acting to a wall.
That's true.
So when I'm at home, self-taping in my little studio, Brianna's reading for me off camera. We do it as many times as we want.
Is it live or can you redo it? Because the redoing it could be incredible.
Yes, Zoom is different. Sorry. Okay, I'm talking about a self-tape. Zoom.
But no, but self-tape, you're allowed to. You can
do it as many times as you want. But
Are
if you're
most of
doing,
them Zoom or self-tape?
most of them are self-tape.
That's crazy.
Okay, so the big thing is being able to edit and
Correct.
and flop.
Do it as
and
many
that
Usually
sucked.
at an audition, you got one shot, right?
Yeah,
you got
one
one
shot.
read with those people, the directors in the room, the
Totally.
casting directors
You
in
do
the
a
room.
couple stutters
and you're
and
like,
you're out.
this
It's
guy's
nerve-wracking.
ass.
Knockout.
Like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah, the auditioning, like being able to audition well is a whole different skill in acting that some people are really good at. I get really nervous still, even like 20 years in. I'm like going into a room knowing, okay, I've got the lines memorized, but what if I screw up? What if this happens? What if that happens? It's still nerve-wracking. But when I'm at home self-taping, you get to do the best job possible. But Zoom is different. I've heard so many like horror stories of like there'd be like a sync issue, and there's like a really important moment, and it mutes, and you don't hear the other reader, and they're waiting for you, and they think you forgot the line and stuff like that. So I think Zoom.
Or your Wi-Fi's lagging.
Yeah, like,
Wi-Fi goes
what if
out,
you
dude?
crushed it and they're like, oh, sorry, didn't, can you do it again? And
Right,
you're just
you're
all
like crying,
flustered.
and
Yeah.
it's like the perfect emotional scene. They're like, "Can you just run that back real quick?" Yeah,
You're stuttering. It's getting. Oh my god, can you imagine?
That's a lot,
I freak
dude.
out.
yeah.
That's a
So
lot.
Zooms are awful, but at self-taping, I prefer to in-person auditions.
I guess technically, self-taping is the best mirror to a TV or a movie because you get to retape in TV movies. It's not like you're auditioning for a live show like
Correct.
Broadway or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be allowed to have a couple goes at it if you are taping for a show that's going to obviously do multiple shots.
Yeah.
I think
Right?
I think it's great for production too because they know they're getting the best performance out of the actor.
Yeah.
And so and casting
Not just the best moment one time.
Sure. And casting directors want you to do your best work. And when you're in a room and you were maybe stuck in traffic and you get to the waiting room, there's like when I
30
go.
people that look like you.
That's what I was
There's
about to say.
37 dudes in leather jackets in a row.
Dude,
That's
you
the
think
same
you're
haircut as
special? You
me.
walk into an audition room in LA, there's 20 kids that look exactly like you, and
Duh.
then you go to the callback, and then there's 10 more, and it's like damn. So it can be pretty. It's a huge mental game going into like an in-person audition room, and most casting directors are also really like intimidating.
Sure.
For sure.
And so there's like this cold front that they put up, and you're trying to like warm the room, and they're yeah, it's not
Because
fun.
they've seen
The one-
everyone seen everything, and,
That
and
too.
they got
They're
75
bored.
guys to go through days. Like, all right, come on in, let's go. Here's the line, get out.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
white dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Pretty
know what I
much.
mean? Like, have you ever had a really good or really bad audition that sticks out?
I don't have like an awful audition story. Well, I guess I'm not gonna say the name. Okay, so there was one casting director who I had known for a while because I'd auditioned for stuff and she was a fan of mine, and I was going into an audition one day. And I made the mistake of not looking on the breakdown of who was casting. I was in a rush. I knew my lines. I went to the audition room, and I saw her there. And when she walked out of the room to call me in, I looked at her like surprised, like, "Oh, good to see you." And in front of the whole room, she said, "You didn't know you were coming in to see me today?
Oh.
You don't read the call sheet? Did you not read the email? Because I knew you were coming in. You didn't know I was." And she like just made me look so stupid in front of everybody.
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh," and I made up some dumb excuse. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I think I got the same day. I was in a rush." She goes, "My name's also on the door when you walked in."
Oh.
I just like melted into the floor. And then she's like, "All right, come on in and do your audition." It's like,
Yeah,
now I'm
I
just
forgot
set
all
up
my
to
lines. I have no
completely
idea what I'm
fail.
saying.
And that was an awful audition. But I learned my lesson. Make sure you know who you're going in to see. Be prepared. Don't act surprised, because that was...
Assuming you didn't get that role.
Did not
No,
get that
no,
gig.
No, yeah. That role was not gotten.
It would have been a great story. Like, and she gave me the role.
Right? Can you imagine? No, that didn't happen.
That was a big miss.
But as far as good auditions... that was... Okay, so when I was 10, I did a movie called Cinderella Man.
Which is a huge.
That was a huge moment for me, yeah. Playing the son of Russell Crowe and Renee Zellweger, and that final callback. I think there was 5 callbacks, which I've never had to this day.
5?
Yeah, usually it's like you get 1 callback, maybe 2, maybe 3, but this was 5.
And you were 10 years old?
And I was 10
And
years
they
old,
were
yeah.
all other 10-year-olds?
Yeah. So on the final callback, I think it was me and 3 other actors. They flew out, one from LA, one from Vancouver, me, and then someone else. And in the film, there's 3 kids, and so they were mix and matching all the kids, like who looks good with which sibling. So you were going into I was there for 3
like
hours.
who looks good as a family?
Yes,
Okay.
and you're reading with all the other kids. But Russell was in the room, Renee was in the room, Ron Howard was in the room, Brian Grazer, the producer, was in the room. Luckily, I was 10 because at that time I didn't really know who these people were, so I wasn't as like
Yeah, yeah.
nervous like Gladiator.
Dude.
What's that?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And so But that was also the only time in my career where I found out I got the part in the room.
Yeah, that never happens.
They brought all 3 of the kids in, told everyone else to leave. They brought our parents up, so my mom got to meet everyone, which was great.
That's kind of cool.
And Ron Howard said right then and there, these are the kids we want for the film. And that was cool too, because I got to call my agent and tell him that I got it rather than him telling me.
Wait, you had an agent at 10?
I mean, yeah,
go.
any actor.
Start calling Russell Crowe direct.
Ron Howard, though, that's a humongous name.
Yeah,
too,
Mr. Howard, hi,
Yeah.
10-year-old here.
Yeah.
Right.
Love to come down to the audition. Heard it's gonna be awesome.
So that
That's
was
awesome.
definitely probably like the highlight audition experience for me.
That's crazy.
and
Telling you in the room. Was it like, it felt like a game show, right? Like,
Oh,
you're
man.
like, and you guys got it. Ah!
Yeah, no, it was an amazing experience, and that whole film shot in Toronto, which is where I was living at the time because that's
Yeah.
where I'm from. And that was also one thing Ron Howard said was important, was that he wanted to have kids who could go home to their own house at the end of filming, and so it was important for him that he wanted to hire Canadians. And so there was a lot of like Toronto actors in that film.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Toronto, just saying.
Oh, yeah?
Toronto's one of my favorite cities.
Oh, cool.
I think it's the most beautiful people I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
It's super diverse. I love that city.
It's very diverse.
And that's why I'm going in like 2 weeks.
Just to sneak that in there real
Yeah,
quick.
that's why I'm going to visit.
What are you doing out there?
Just gonna hang out. I know a bunch of people out there. I haven't been since like COVID and shut down.
Yeah, I haven't
So-
been in a while.
Hanging out with Drake.
Yeah.
Right. Going to like a Raptors game or something?
No, just gonna hang out with some
Yeah.
nightlife people.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Love it.
for sure.
Cool.
But I love it out there.
Have you ever seen someone like sabotage someone else on an audition?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, go for it, because let me think.
I was gonna say, do you always see like the same people every time you go to? Because that's something I experienced. Every freaking audition I went to, there was the same kid every time, and it was always either me or him got it. And it's
For the
like,
listeners that
damn.
don't know, Lo was also a child
I
actor
was a child actor
back in his
back in the day.
early life.
Yeah,
That's so
for
cool.
Sure. For
You have
sure.
a way cooler IMDb though, don't
Yeah,
you?
yours is
Nah,
way
yours
better.
flexes
Don't
on
hit-
mine.
don't
Yours
pull his up
flashes
on your
mine.
free time.
No, that's awesome. Wait, where are you from?
LA.
Cool.
Yeah, LA.
Awesome. So,
So,
you
I
what
started, like,
what
5.
age? 5.
Sorry, 5.
Wow, good for you.
So
That's
5
cool.
through like right until high school. That's what I
Awesome.
was doing like all the time.
Was it Murder, She Wrote, right?
I was in like
Really?
Murder, She Wrote. I was in a film overseas. I was in a couple films out here.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But
So,
I feel like
everything you're
when you see auditions, sometimes you always hear, like, I guess in movies and like Entourage, remember there was always like some dude like sabotaging like some other guy to get the part and stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
I never had that.
Not for you, but like around. Like
Yeah.
I feel like when you're in the sphere, you probably hear of so many weird, funny like rumor mill stories. You know?
Yeah, I can't think of any. I wish I had like more audition stories, but it was definitely always the same kids, especially when I was auditioning in Toronto, because just like the pool of talent is smaller than
Yeah, for
LA.
sure.
And that age.
Yeah, right. Especially that's like 10, 11, 12. It was always the same like 6 kids at the callback, and it was all, like always one of us would get it, one wouldn't, but we'd always see each other. And then in LA it was sort of similar, but just a larger pool. But at every callback,
Does it ever feel like a rivalry? Right? You're
Oh,
like,
totally.
oh damn, he's here.
Oh,
so
he's
what
here?
about,
oh,
dude?
totally, yeah.
The moms all pretend like they're friends. Good to see you again.
That's the
Motherfucker.
thing, man. The whole stage mom thing. I was very lucky. My mom was very cool, but I definitely know that there were like certain moms to like stay away from that my mom was
some
warning about. Like
intense
there were some
parents,
crazy
dude.
stage moms. Like I've seen stage moms get kicked off of set multiple times just for being too
wow.
hands on with the kid and trying to control the set. But that's a whole different story, man.
That's incredible.
Wait, is that why you left Canada then for acting?
So I let's see. I was flying out to LA every year for what's called pilot season, which doesn't really exist anymore, but prior to like streaming services, which now just kind of changed everything, from about January to April every year, networks were trying to get pilots filmed. And so it was pilot season, and actors would come out. There'd be tons of auditions. Who's going to be the next lead in the next pilot?
Yeah.
Hopefully the pilot gets picked up and becomes the next Friends or Seinfeld, whatever. And so after I did Cinderella Man, I flew to LA for the premiere. That was my first time in LA. Signed with an agent, my first U.S. agent, and then I started getting auditions for U.S. parts. And then, yeah, so every year I'd fly out for a few months. That's actually how I met Brianna. I met Brianna when I was 10 years old, because her little sister used to act, and our family stayed in the same apartment complex in LA.
Oh, what?
And that's how we first met. Yeah.
Wow.
So you guys know each other since you're 10?
Yeah, she was 11, I was 10. She's a year older.
10 was a big year for you.
You right? That's what I'm
10
saying.
was
How do you go up from there?
Whenever you talk to an adult, like, hey, what year? Like, really,
No,
wasn't 10.
Yeah.
10 was your Cinderella year. You're
Yeah,
right.
everything's been kind of steady going.
Yeah.
10
This
was
guy's like, I met my fiance. I don't remember one thing I did when I was 10.
Yeah, me
I
either.
don't remember what grade I was in.
What grade is that?
Fifth.
yeah.
Ooh, fifth grade was
Yeah,
a good
fifth
year.
grade. Fifth grade.
Fifth
Yeah.
grade was a good year. Yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty sure I played kickball. Definitely got a pair
I
of
did
Jordans.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
That was it.
that's funny. That was a big year. You're right.
Yeah, that was a big yeah.
So
rad.
I would fly to LA for a few months for pilot season, and then when I was 13, I made the move semi-permanently instead of just for a few months. I moved out there with my mom and my little brothers, and I went to high school out there. So we really tried it just for more than the few months, and we did that for 2 years. Came back to Toronto. It's always just sort of been back and forth. But yeah, the longest I've ever lived out in LA permanently was about 2.5 years. Other than that, I've just been going back and forth.
That's crazy. Did you want to become a child actor? Or was this like your mom? Like, because you said your mom was really supportive, but was
Yeah.
it her idea? Were you 6 and like, hey, I want to?
Right.
TV's pretty cool. Can I do it?
Sure. So the way it started was my mom was good friends with this woman who started Twins Talent Agency in Toronto, which, as you can guess by the name, specializes in twins who are actors. And child actors, I'm sure as you know, this child actors who are twins work so much because you can only work a certain amount of hours as a kid.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
if
yeah.
you're identical, you play the same character. The producers love that. They get 8 hours out of this, 8 hours out of that. and they
Child
work a
labor
full
laws,
day.
It's like,
dude.
it's like Big Daddy.
Cole and Dylan Sprouse, same thing. So my little brothers are identical twins. So they started first when they were 4, and I was 6 at the time.
Wow.
And they were doing tons of commercials and TV and stuff like that. And then, so I just kind of started. I saw them having fun, going into audition rooms, auditioning for like a hot dog commercial and coming out with eating hot dogs. I'm like, I want to do that. And so it was just something I was being brought along to the auditions anyways, because my mom was driving us around. And I think one day it was just like, do you want to try? And I was like, sure. And I started auditioning, and I just liked it, and I was doing well at it. And to this day, I'm the only one in my family that's still doing it. But I'm one of 5 kids, and all 5 of us were acting at one point.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I don't know how my mom did it, but she was driving us to hockey and auditions and soccer, and all 5 of us just like on the go
lot.
all the time.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Dude,
Just-
that's a lot.
It's
Just
a lot.
twins is a lot.
Dude, one
5?
kid is like a lot.
Yeah, so they had 5. My parents had 5 kids in the span of 6 years.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
That's respect.
right. Yeah.
That is a lot. Wait, so we're always curious about this. Besides like the 11 cents that Low gets every other
I get
month.
residuals
Oh no,
still?
residuals suck. But ask me. Go ahead.
But how
suck,
do
dude.
child actors get paid? Did you get was all the money going to your parents, and then you got this big fat bonus check when you're 18 or something?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So good question. So in the U.S. it's called a Coogan account, and then in Canada it's called just like a youth trust fund. But pretty much, so it's called the Coogan account in the U.S. because it's named after this famous child actor named Jackie Coogan, who back in the 20s worked like crazy, and his parents took all his money.
Yeah.
So they were like, we need a way to protect kids. So they started this Coogan account where in the U.S., I believe it's 20% of all your earnings go into an account that you can't touch until you're 18. And Canada does something very similar. And so, when I turned 18, I got to go to the bank and they handed me a check, and that was that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
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 That's like a big moment. And then
Yeah.
all the rest of it then is just controlled by your guardian, whoever your
Yeah,
guardian is.
pretty much.
essentially?
Yeah. So that the rest would go to my parents, and they would put us through school and do all the stuff that
Interesting.
you would need with 5 kids, which I'm sure is very expensive.
I mean, I just had a daughter. I'm probably going to put her to work maybe in the next month or two. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Some money
Yeah.
coming in, guys.
Smile time for some photos.
Earn your keep.
Yeah.
Man, you do like one U.S. national commercial, it pays really well. Like there's actors who make a living just off doing commercials, 2 or 3 commercials a year.
Yeah,
Really?
I did
Yeah.
a big Kodak one during the Olympics in like '96 or whatever it
Oh,
was.
man.
And we were good. I remember
Yeah.
that year I got everything I wanted.
U.S.
It was
national,
great.
it airs across North
Your parents
America.
are so pumped up for you.
If
If it
lit.
keeps airing, you get residuals. It's like you can make a lot being a commercial actor.
That's really wild.
Yeah.
I feel like we're on they're in this crew and we're just
Yeah,
what's up,
hell yeah,
and I
dude.
just don't
Cool
like
Kids
it.
Club over here.
I don't like it.
Can you,
the fact that he's relating so much is making me really mad.
Can you define a lot?
A
For
lot.
like the amounts that these actors are getting paid for
Oh,
commercials?
you can clear like 20 grand off of just one commercial, and that's
Just
like
one commercial?
Yeah, for one. Yeah, I mean with residuals, the 20 grand. But if it keeps airing, because her and her sister did a lot of commercials when they were kids, and
We did a Walmart one and it was 6 figures.
yeah.
I need to get into commercial acting. Let's do it.
Seriously, dude.
Snapple. I feel like I love.
I bet you
Snapples.
now with like the social media influencer kids now, and like that's controlled by the accounts. I bet you they're getting so like the parent controlled kid accounts. Bet you those kids are getting all sorts of these random commercials. Probably.
Yeah, it's
at
gotta
this
be.
point now, right?
It's got to be a new way to discover kids, right? You don't have to truly go through the normal agent route, right? You
Yeah.
don't scroll on TikTok and be like, that kid was really good.
Yeah.
I want them. Slide DM.
Yeah.
It's all different.
Slide DM.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're a casting director, I
Link
can
in
be on
bio,
TikTok. Like,
that's
oh,
good.
that's
Yeah.
good. Hey, parent, would you want to come do a Kodak
Whatever,
commercial?
Charmin
whatever.
commercial.
Charmin, yeah, whatever.
That's pretty crazy. That whole world is so funny because we obviously have zero idea about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just unreal.
Yeah.
And I think seeing you now on social media and your music and everything, I had zero idea. Like no idea that that was your past life.
Yeah.
Which is like so wild.
It's
Yeah.
still there, right? You're still doing some
Still
of this
doing
stuff,
it.
right?
Yeah. I had mentioned, I think prior to us recording that I recently did an episode of Chicago Med. It's the season finale of season 7 that airs next week on the 25th of May. So yeah, still doing it, doing the music at the same time, which is great. Because with acting, like when you're working, you work like crazy and things are going well. And then when you go through a slump, you're like not working. And it's just like when it rains, it pours. And when it's dry, it's like nothing's happening. And then you had COVID and it was like, what do I do with my time and with this creative drive that I have? And so that's why music sort of recently became a big thing for me.
Did acting make it easier or harder to step into the music space?
A lot easier.
Really?
I think just from the confidence that acting gave me of being in a room, performing. Not that I had a huge social media following from acting, but that obviously helped because now I have a bit of an audience that when I had music, now I have people to show it to,
Right.
rather than starting from zero. But yeah, I would definitely say that the skills that acting gave me has helped a lot with hip hop and music and all that kind of stuff.
Do you think you can turn it on and turn it off? When I see a ton of actors, right, you know when they're on, right? You know their camera's on there, but a lot of actors are truly just the way they are, right? Do you think it's a switch you turn on, or do you think it's just how you are all the time?
As far as like their personality or like snapping into like a character
No,
on
personality.
Oh, personality. Yeah, I guess I try to stay pretty like even keeled so that I never feel like when I'm in actor mode it's like a performance because then you're just draining energy and you're showing something that isn't authentically you. So I try to stay as like as even as I can. But I do know people who have like the actor thing that they turn on and they become a different person.
For
And
sure.
God, that's got to be tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you decided to cross over, because I feel like in general, it's always interesting to me when someone, especially nowadays, it's more welcoming than it used to be. Remember when like an actor was trying to music or music was trying to actor and it kind of was weird?
Yeah.
Is it more welcoming now when you see that like crossover or doing both, that
I
one
think-
helps the other type of situation?
It's a great question. I think right now it is. When I was like really considering doing it, like around high school, I was really nervous because it was sort of like the actor who wants to rap, but then also add it's like the white kid who wants to rap. I knew everybody would be like rolling their eyes. And so when I first like started, I was just uploading music. She's laughing because she knows. I was uploading music anonymously on YouTube and entering rap contests and didn't tell anybody. And I had like this other name, and because I was just so nervous what even my friends would think. Because I had also seen other actors who wanted to do music and they got laughed at. So, I mean, if I could go back in time, I would have realized that, like, man, you really can't care what anybody else thinks. I cared too much. But I think right now, especially, it's like everybody's bio is like DJ, rapper, musician, like
is.
entrepreneur,
Actor,
podcast
yeah.
host. It's like, and that's cool. It's like,
Yeah.
you got a lot going on. My idols are like guys like Idris Elba, like Donald Glover, Childish Gambino,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
does like all these different things. I would love to be that. So, yeah, I think it's very welcomed now.
The people who go to that stratosphere, the people who dabble in everything, it's incredible, right? The people who enter that stratosphere of ultimate success in both, like, do you know who I was reading about the other day who I just really never really wrapped my brain around on how talented they have gotten and respected? Jared Leto.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Jared Leto is now
She
like,
just discovered that he was in
30 Seconds to
30
Mars.
Seconds to Mars.
30
yeah.
Seconds of to Mars
Yeah.
is one of the biggest global brands or bands on the planet. And Jared Leto now is winning Oscars.
yeah.
Like, to get to
crazy.
those levels on both sides is unreal. Like, Donald Glover and Childish Gambino. Like,
Yeah.
on
He's like a
another
unicorn.
level
Yeah.
of success for both, which is almost never
No.
attainable, right? Or people can't look at you in both lenses, right? Or take you seriously in music and take you seriously in that. It's really tough to get that. So doing both simultaneously, is that like a goal now? Just keep riding both as long as you can and getting better.
Yeah. People always ask me, like, if you had to choose one, which one would you choose? And I feel like it's like, I don't want to choose. I love getting to, like, just yesterday, I finished recording a song. I filmed some, like, TikTok content for it. And then we had an audition and we filmed a self-tape. And I just felt so productive at the end of the day that I got to do something in the acting space, do something in the music space. I love doing both. I forget your question, but
I also
hope
think
I'm answering.
connections overlap a little bit too, I would assume, right? Every time you're just a little bit successful in one area, possibly could help the other.
Yeah, I
It's
had
not a big world, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. I had a meeting with a acting talent manager like a year ago, and she was like, to be honest, there's a lot of like Caucasian 20-year-olds who want managers right now, but what made you stand out was when I discovered your music and I wanted to meet with you. So that helped me get a meeting with this manager, which was great. So it definitely can help.
That's awesome.
That
That's
is cool.
I equate it to like a two-sport athlete, right? If you're like a Bo Jackson, right, and you're a
Which is
unicorn-
also rare, though, right? Like
Exactly,
doing
it's what it
both
is.
at a higher end point is freaking
It's
hard,
unheard of.
right?
It's
You're either
unheard of.
amazing at one thing, or like okay at a couple things,
Yeah.
right? And that mentality can change for certain people who are like, but you've been. I think the advantage of you, right, is like not a lot of people have been doing like they decide to do something when they're older after they get through the normal childhood, high school, college, and like, oh, cool, I want to try acting or whatever.
Yeah.
But doing it since you were 6 years old, like you just like in the back of your brain, you're just more innately able to execute it and try it and gone through the motions
Yeah.
and done it all.
It's a resume before people even
Yeah.
started their lives.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like you said, people like me who are 10 who are just eating lunch and,
And
playing.
kicking a red bouncy ball.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I got so lucky though, because it wasn't something I like at 10 years old was like, I want to act. It was like I got
So
lucky that
organic.
my mom knew this woman
Sure.
and my little brother started first. So I feel very lucky that I had the opportunity to start so early and that it's kept going this long.
All right, so from your music perspective,
Yeah.
technically, what genre of music do you consider yourself?
I would say hip hop, right? Yeah. Yeah, like, I love Nick D. You guys had him on the podcast recently, and he's somebody who I've connected with like in the last 6 months or so, and he's just taught me so much about how to make a career as an independent artist. And when he first started, was heavy rap. Like if you listen to his older stuff, it was a lot of just rap, and he wasn't singing much. And now it's a lot more melodic and singing and
Yeah.
poppy, and that stuff just does really well, especially on platforms like TikTok, which he's grown like crazy, and I've been trying to grow as of recent. And so yeah, I've been enjoying doing a lot more of the melodic pop stuff, but there's always going to be a rap element because I love songwriting. I love clever lyrics. I love that kind of songwriting. So there'll always be an element of hip hop in my music, even if it goes a bit more pop. Hip hop, yeah, pop rap, I guess is what they call it.
Yeah.
Pop rap, I
Pop
like
rap.
that.
Pop rap,
I'm
yeah.
a fan.
Did you ever think about having like a character? Like a persona?
Oh yes, okay. So I mean, this is so embarrassing, but yeah. So when I was doing that,
The SoundCloud thing, right?
when I was doing, I should say it right. I mean, it's so yeah, right. It's my okay. So prior to me pursuing this publicly, when I was just going on YouTube and rapping anonymously, I had my name, which was unidentified, but I spelled it like unEYE-dentified. I thought it was really cool.
Super clever, right? Yeah.
And I was like the Banksy of rap. I didn't show my face, and if I did do it like a video, I would like have a mask on. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Looking back, it was really dumb. And the only reason I did it was because I was just scared that people would know that I was trying to pursue music. So yeah, there was a time where I was like, I'm gonna make this character unidentified, and he wears a mask. She's laughing at me.
Right.
No one knows who he is, and he could be like the Banksy of hip hop.
Yeah. It's like Marshmallow.
Yeah,
before,
like Marshmallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, as I like got the confidence to just go out there with me, I mean, one thing I debated was like, do I go with like a stage name or my real name? Like, do I do the Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, or do I just keep it all under one? And at the start, for a little bit, I went by Charles Edward, which is just Connor Charles Edward Price is my full name, so I went by my middle names. And then it was just like people couldn't find my music. They're searching Connor Price. Where is it? I'm like, let's just make it easy. Let's reduce the friction. And so I just decided to make music and acting all under the same name.
And so you just be I guess you just, at the end of the day, to be successful, you really just have to, and like longevity, you just have to be who you are, right?
Yep.
Like trying to make
Yeah.
it up. We've had a lot of people on, like from the WWE on here, and just like, deciding like who their character is going to be and why, and like this, like, and how they're going to present themselves in that world. And it's interesting just in entertainment in general, right? It's like how you go about the persona that you put out there for music or anything else, and how you take that.
Yeah, I think having a persona works for some artists.
Yeah.
But when I think about the artists that have like real longevity and like like you look at someone like Drake or Jay-Z or Kendrick or Andre, they don't have a character. They're just themselves.
Them,
Yeah.
And it's so easy to maintain that because like goes back to like that whole acting persona. It's like you don't need a persona. If you're just yourself, no matter what age you're at,
Yep.
that's going to carry through. I think now more than ever, people are so attached to authenticity. Even when we make content on like TikTok and Instagram, it's like the moment people sniff that you're like trying to sell them something or you're not being true to
Yeah.
yourself, they swipe away.
Sure.
But when it's just an authentic, real moment, which is something Nick D is so good at, and I think why he does so well on TikTok and with his podcast, is he's just himself. And you know, like you feel like you know that person. And when you
Yes.
can make someone feel like they're your friend and that they know you, they're going to support your music or support your acting or whatever it is that you're pursuing.
Yeah, you have to. It's real, especially now with content. It's really a transparent. The transparency,
For sure.
like you need to have it. Otherwise, like you said, people are like
They,
"All right,
they
this
sniff it
guy's-
out these days, man.
This
Yeah.
guy's full of crap.
They know. Yeah.
Like,
I do it all the time.
100%.
I'll something like, I go, oh, no.
Yeah,
It makes
really
you cringe.
cringy, yeah,
it makes
or
you
something
cringe.
bad like that.
Yeah.
So how has social media changed your music direction? Right, like I looked on your social media, and the growth you've had has been, especially just for music specifically, has been unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you. It's been huge. TikTok specifically has like impacted my music more than anything in such a crazy way. And that's what's so amazing about TikTok, and something I learned from working with Nick D. Because I was making the mistake when I was first starting my TikTok momentum. I was posting a lot of remixes, like if I was a feature on this Drake song or if I was a feature on this song. And that was going viral because people knew the song and it was cool to see, oh, how's this kid going to rap over this beat? But for one, you can't monetize that because it's copyright. I can't post that on Spotify or Apple Music. I can put it on YouTube, but I can't run ads on it. So you can't make any money off that. And now people know you as the remix guy.
Yeah.
And that was the
Yeah.
problem I was having.
You're just not doing your own music, essentially. Right?
Yeah, and when I would post my music, all the comments were, do another remix, do another remix. And I was like,
Ah, damn.
Yo, hop on that popular song, dude.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And Nick D was the one who gave me the advice to say, stop doing remixes, like, or post your original music. And since that first phone call with him when he told me to do that, I stopped. And in the last 3 months, my monthly listeners on Spotify have gone from 75. Yeah, as of today, I'm at 1.1 million. And I credit all of that to just using social media to promote original music as
And not
as,
just getting views that are useless
yes,
for your
correct.
career.
And yeah, and because all it takes is one video to pop off that uses your song. Then that's what's so cool about music is you're always one song away, one piece of content away from virality or someone else posting it, some celebrity posting it or commenting on it. That's how it all goes. And then you just try to keep that momentum going, keep the songs coming out, and hopefully you can make a career out of it and not just a one viral moment.
The one thing I've been seeing, speaking about remixes, right? The one thing I've been seeing everybody do
Yeah.
that I actually love is like they're posting songs and they go, now you drop your verse, 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's the coolest thing.
So those are the open verse challenges, and those can do really well. There are songs that have blown up because of the open verse challenges.
That Russ and Caitlyn one.
Well, there you
Yes.
go.
Is
That's
the
the
prime
exact one.
example.
That's the exact one.
And what's cool about that is, so Nick D and I have our own podcast for independent artists, and we had Caitlyn on recently, and we got to kinda,
did you really?
Yeah. And so seeing her blow up from doing remixes on
Yeah.
TikTok to then doing an open verse challenge for Russ, it goes crazy, 20 million views. He puts her on the official remix.
Yeah.
Now he's on tour with her.
Takes her on
and
tour.
And he signed her to his label.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Insane. Her life
From
has
one-
changed
from
in
TikTok.
1 month.
One TikTok.
One TikTok.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
So
That's
yeah, that's a
incredible.
great point. I would make a difference between a remix of a popular song versus if an artist opens up an open
And you
verse
drop
challenge.
your verse on
yeah, and
it,
if it's
yeah.
good enough and they're forced to have to let's do a remix,
Yeah.
then that's the best case scenario.
That's
'cause
like the
that-
blueprint now of crowdsourcing what people think a version of your own content could be.
Yeah.
And like having someone else audition to be on your own song.
Totally.
For sure.
Like if you think about how that works, but everyone sees it live.
Yeah.
And is trying it. So even like at auditions, for instance, right? Like every other audition who didn't make it is never out there.
Yeah.
But these open verse challenges, everyone gets to see everyone else trying.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
So like, there's no guarantee, and you're just raking up the views of people attempting it, and then you pick the one that wins.
Yeah.
It's just a genius way to do it.
Yeah, just as a person that's consuming that content too, right? I've learned about so many different people that have incredible talents by just swiping through that one person's like duets, right? Like,
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
how many people went through it?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that person could really sing. Then you get down like the wormhole,
find it.
right? And you're like, oh, that person's really good. And they do what? Oh, they're really good singers or whatever it is.
It's just one, like you said, one step away from the next thing.
Yeah.
How did that Idris Elba song happen with you then? Because that was an open verse challenge too, right?
Yeah, in a way. So he, I don't know if you remember, but he was like one of the first celebrities to come out as having COVID back in like, I guess 2020.
Yeah, a while ago.
And he had posted this like rap that he did on Instagram, rapping about his experience with COVID. And he left part of the instrumental open, and in his caption was like inviting other rappers to like download the instrumental and do their own version of it and talk about their experience. And so I knew that like, okay, this could be my chance to get his attention. So that night I downloaded it, I wrote something, I rapped it, Brianna filmed it, we uploaded it on Instagram. I encouraged my followers to tag Idris. And then the next morning I woke up, he followed me, he liked the post, he commented on it, and he DM'd me like, let's work.
Oh,
And, like
shit.
just like that, which was insane. And I do have to credit. So one of my good friends, Warren Brown, who I know because I worked with him on a show called X Company that we shot in Europe for 3 years. So World War II spy drama. He's good friends with Idris because they did a show called Luther together. So he had encouraged Idris like, hey, check out my guy's thing. So yeah, shout out to Warren.
That's dope.
And so yeah, Idris saw it, reached out to me. We started messaging each other on WhatsApp. And what's so cool about Idris is he doesn't like to type, so he sends voice notes, and he's got the coolest voice ever.
Oh, it's sick.
So
voice
like,
note, yeah,
voice note. Like, what
but
the hell?
that doesn't count though. Regular people voice notes, whatever. Idris Elba voice
Oh,
notes,
it's crazy.
that's
Different.
fine.
It's
Because
different
his
level,
voice
dude.
is like each one of them is like, it sounds so like
Crazy.
incredible, you know?
Like, yeah, my phone would go off, like,
save all
message
that.
from Idris, and she'd be like, let's listen to it.
Let's listen to it.
It's great. Great voice.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, yeah, so we had this song. I had the song idea sitting in, like, a demo. It was, like, the Courtney Cox song. And I had a chorus and a verse, and I sent it to him. And 45 minutes later, he sent me back his verse, which was incredibly fast, also considering Idris Elba, who I think was probably shooting, like, Suicide Squad at the time. But he...
Casually busy guy.
Yeah.
Right.
In
But
his trailer, like, let me
Yeah.
drop a verse.
Pretty much. And yeah, so he sent it back. I remember when we listened to it in the car for the first time, and we freaked out because in his verse he like mentions me, he like shouts me out. It was such a cool moment.
That's crazy.
And then from there, so the song is called Courtney Cox because I reference her in the chorus. And then one day I'm talking to him on the phone, and he's like, "Hey, so my publicist knows Courtney Cox's publicist. I'm gonna see if we can get her to hear the song." And I was like, okay, like it's kind of like a a toss up, but it is Idris. Maybe he can pull that. And then like a few days later, he ties in Courtney Cox into a WhatsApp group chat with me. So to this day,
Sick group chat.
which is crazy. I have a WhatsApp group chat with Idris and Courtney that we call Rap Life.
I was going to say, what's the title?
Rap Life,
Rap
yeah.
Life is hot.
And so
Rap Life with Courtney Cox.
we convinced her to be in the music video, and she drops a verse at the end of the music video, a little like kind of
I saw that,
comedic
yeah.
like skit where
Yeah.
she does. But yeah, so here I am like getting to record this like music video skit with Idris and Courtney, and two of the nicest people ever. But that whole experience was insane and so much fun.
And at that time, you had dramatically less following on TikTok than you do now.
Oh, totally. Like I don't even know if I had a TikTok at that point. I didn't. Yeah.
Oh, so this was all on Instagram?
This is all through Instagram.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it was insane. I couldn't believe that like Courtney wanted to be involved in that because it like she wasn't getting anything out of the show. She obviously wasn't getting paid. I'm not bringing any clout to Courtney. I mean, who's bringing any clout to Courtney Cox? So she just did it.
This could really help you blow up, Courtney. You know?
Right. Yeah. Start her rap career. I think a big part that helped was because it was COVID and nothing was going on.
Yeah.
They had nothing to do. Like we shot that whole music video from our phones over Zoom, and then they sent me all their clips, and I edited it together to look like we were on FaceTime with each other because we couldn't. Like I still to this day have not met Idris or Courtney in person, so we just did that all through Zoom. But yeah,
That's kinda
now we
crazy.
have like a music
I've been talking
video.
to Idris Elba for a couple years. We know each other, but we've never met in person.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
just
no,
really
we
how it
haven't.
is.
If I walk by him, he'd probably be like, "What's up, man?
What's up, bro? How are you?
Yeah, I'd be like this.
We got to get you to
Big
come out
deal.
to one of his DJ sets. He might would do one in Vegas.
That'd be
Ooh,
crazy.
yeah, for sure.
I
He's big in
did
that
a
world.
Coachella party where Idris Elba DJ'd
Yeah.
last year of Coachella.
Talk about
20
versatile.
2019.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Can
Dude,
rap, incredible actor, DJ.
His DJ sets are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, it
Yeah, it's
feels
like
deep
Art of the
house.
Wild vibe.
Yeah, deep
Yeah.
house, yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, no, crazy moment. Yeah, and just like the nicest people ever. It was really like refreshing because they're such A-listers, and you hear so many horror stories about people who are that level of fame just not being the nicest people, especially to maybe someone like me who's just like, to them, nobody.
Of course.
But they were just so sweet and so nice, and even like weeks after, Courtney would like message the group chat and just be like, hey, just checking in, how are you guys? It's like, wow, like they're just regular people, and they're so
How
sweet.
do you have time for that? Good.
Yeah, yeah,
Kudos
that's
to her. That's
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah. So-
That is one thing I can credit TikTok now, especially when you go on and see like a real celebrity. I say real celebrity, right? Like a
Yeah.
big time name,
Yeah, yeah.
like just engaging with regular people's content because they
makes
like
them human.
Just someone that
Yeah.
you could never just reach out to in general.
No
Yeah.
way.
Even on other social media platforms, they would never really see it or hear it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
On this, they're just engaging with something that they like, a funny video or something that's like relevant, or like a parenting video that they think is funny or relatable. They're in it,
Yeah.
which I think is giving people like yourself massive abilities, and us. Like when we try to post content, right, we get sometimes messages or DMs from people that we otherwise had no idea were watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or gave a shit at all.
Yeah, I don't think there's any app that has the organic reach that TikTok has right now.
Not even
Where
close.
you could you're not even following the person, but they could post something that has 10 views, and it could pop up on your feed if it matches the algorithm of what you usually watch. So yeah, it's amazing to just get organic reach and get in front of an audience you normally wouldn't with any other app.
So what are some of the struggles growing in the music industry now?
I mean, there's a lot of people. I wish I knew the number of like how many thousands of songs are released every Friday. It's insane. But there's just so much competition. There's so many people doing it, especially in the hip hop space. So I guess the biggest struggle is like, how do you stand out? How does your rap song, which is the same as so many other rap songs, stand out? How does and now everyone's on TikTok. Like when I first started TikTok, it was still kind of like people, especially doing the music like promo on TikTok, it was still kind of new, and now everyone's doing it. And there's certain like types of TikTok videos that we would do that we don't do anymore because everyone else is doing it, and it's kind of staled it. So it's always just trying to figure out how do you stay fresh and new so that when you do get in front of somebody, they're going to be like, oh, cool, I like this guy. How do you stay different? How do you stand out? Because there's just so much competition.
Yeah, because I feel like, I think it was like us trying to grow this podcast, right? Like,
Yeah.
yes, TikTok in the very beginning was the obvious answer, try to go in, grow social media on all the platforms. But then once everyone has it, then the competition, like everyone has the asset, and the competition just gets even more, right? The quantity of competition gets even higher.
Yeah.
There's just more new guys, more new songs. Everyone thinking that, especially when like the social media music translation starts to actually work, everyone starts to give it a shot more, tries to get more creative. Like, so do you think it's obviously helpful, but is it hurting a bit as well in like everyone's growth?
The social media aspect?
Yeah, just because there's so much new competition.
I guess there is that angle to look at. I don't know. What do you think? Because the reason, which is so great of having Brianna not only as my wife but as like my manager, really. Like I don't have a label, I don't have a manager. It's me and Bri, and we do everything together. She helps me come up with a lot of my TikTok content, and she's like a social media genius.
Right. So
Yeah,
is there like a lot of politics around when you're an independent artist trying to get around the politics of being independent? Is that really tough?
Not.
Like
give me an
against
example.
like with big labels and all that around there, just trying to get your music out there where it needs to be. I think one of the biggest things that I research and I talk to a lot of artists about before is the business of playlisting now. And like how important those streaming playlists are to the success of a song.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. And really, at the end of the day, playlisting is not as important as people think. We actually just did this episode with Nick, where Nick on the podcast went to his Spotify for Artists, where you can see all your stats. And because he's made a lot of big playlists, and you can see the percentage of how many of his streams are coming from these big playlists, and it's 3%. That was the joke of the podcast.
wow.
He's like,
wow.
Really?
3%.
3%.
Yeah. And so the vast majority of his streaming comes from fans that are putting his songs on their own personal playlist.
Got it.
So the editorial playlists are
it.
not really that important, and people listen to them passively, and they're on at a club, they're on at the gym, etc. You might listen to it once, but it's not converting anybody to a real fan. It might get you a stream, but no one's no one's really engaging with it in a way that people think when you make this huge playlist. And I've gotten on big playlists, and it's done nowhere near as much as a TikTok going viral. The next day we see it got a bunch of streams, and people put it on their own personal playlists. But yeah, the editorial playlist is a dangerous thing that artists try to chase after, and they shouldn't. Because
Really?
it doesn't do as much as you think, and it's not converting real fans.
I thought it
they're
was such
they're
a
passive
bigger
listeners.
deal.
No, I mean I did too, but
Yeah.
from the
But not for the average person. It's like the lottery.
Right.
What about just for like discoverability, right? Like
Right, getting a
if-
song
if-
on there
exactly.
can
if-
help you find someone.
To be honest, I listen to like those main big ones up on hip hop,
like
right?
the
Yeah.
rap
And I listen-
caviars.
Sure.
and
Rap
I mean,
like,
caviar,
those are huge.
R&B, like all those ones, right?
Yeah.
And I find if I honestly I listen to them very passively, right? But
Yeah.
if there's something I go, whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
Right. That's when I go, and I'll check into that person and go, all right, who is this? What are they playing? What else do they got?
yeah.
But I use it for, 'cause I don't listen to the radio. I don't listen. Like I listen to my friends. They go, "Hey, listen to this guy," and I'll listen to them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the only other way I kind of find new artists.
Sure. Do
Yeah.
you feel like you find any artists through TikTok at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I do
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm starting to like dive into TikTok more. And that's the only ones I find on TikTok are like the independent ones. Right?
Sure, sure, yeah.
If anybody's big already and has stuff, I won't find them on TikTok. I'll find them on like Rap
Yeah,
Caviar
Spotify
or New
playlist,
and
yeah.
Hot or Turnt or whatever the
Right.
Spotify ones are.
the-
Important to differentiate a big label artist getting on Rap Caviar
Yeah.
versus the average independent artist. The odds of getting on Rap Caviar.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
the
TikTok is more-
politics of that business. I meant was that was like my point.
Yes,
is, like,
because at the end of the day, these playlists are all controlled by one person. Not the same person, but like
Yeah.
each playlist has one or two or three
You are the Rap Caviar
curators.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And they choose what they want on that playlist. And playlisting is so finicky because I've had people tell me you need to release the song 4 weeks in advance, give it the time to get onto the playlist, and I do that. Oh, they're talking, they're gonna throw it on, things are looking good. Release day comes up, nothing happens. Oh, sorry, it just didn't get played. And then like just this song I put out today, I released on I put to Spotify on Tuesday, and it's now, comes out Thursday at midnight. So like two days in advance. And everyone would tell you that's not enough time to get on playlists. And I landed 3 playlists: New Music Friday Canada, Outliers, and one other. So yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And so it's sort of like sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. At the end of the day, it's one person who might be in the mood to be like, oh, I like the song, and they throw it on. But just don't chase playlists. Just focus on putting consistent songs out, engaging with your fan base and your community. But don't feel like
They're the end all,
playlists
be
are
all.
not the answer. They're not going to pop you off. I really don't think so.
Is it pay to play at all?
I mean, maybe in the label world, probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm just talking about the monster ones, right? Like if you're
Probably.
talking about like the pop rising, like the Rap Caviars, like the premier ones on Spotify, right? Like the number ones in all the categories.
It would not surprise me to find out labels, pay a certain amount to certain people or certain, streaming services to get their artists on those playlists. That would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like this new world, there's a lot of less gatekeeping, and this seems like kind of like the last gatekeeping element of, or one that formed
Yeah.
in the new version of how music works.
That's what I love about TikTok is there is no gatekeeping. If the content is good, it will go in front of people. They'll throw it on the algorithm. If the content is good, people will watch it. If the watch time is high and the retention time is high, TikTok will keep throwing it on the algorithm. People will see it. They'll say, hey, what's this song called? You respond in the comments. The song is called this. Pin that comment. Everyone sees it. Like, it's so crazy how much of a direct correlation I could show you to one of my TikToks going viral, and then my Spotify for artists the next day for that song, the streams go way up every time.
That's why
We've seen it too, by the way.
Yeah,
in all
sure.
things, right? Like
Yeah.
if we have a TikTok or a clip that goes viral for an episode, the episode does way better than average, right? Like
Yeah.
just normally, if people catch on, they really like that 35 seconds of an hour-long conversation, which is funny. I think you'd probably do the same thing, right? You could probably repackage a song 50 different ways, and everything is okay.
Yeah.
And then one repackaging moment
Yeah.
of your awesome song, one way out of 50, goes nuts, and the streams go crazy.
And you know what's crazy too? Going back to that Courtney Cox Idris Elba song, I had a piece of content go viral on TikTok for that song, and it did more streams that day than the day when Idris and Courtney posted it on their Instagram to their 20 million plus followers.
it's crazy.
It's crazy how that works too.
TikTok's
Really?
everything. Yep. Yeah, and it wasn't even close. And my video got like 2 million views And I had this piece of content that it was like when you're waiting for Idris to send his verse, and it's me like kind of walking around the room, and then my phone lights up. I rush to my phone and I show Idris's verse. And people were like, whoa, like a lot of people were like, Idris can rap. What is this song? And it went viral on TikTok. And then the next day it got like however many thousands of streams. And it was
so
way more
crazy.
than, yeah.
It's people are just like super engaged on TikTok, right?
Sure.
They're there to
They want to discover music.
learn
That's
and see what the hell is really going on.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, it feels like they're just like, oh, that's cool.
And the majority of Courtney and Idris's followers follow them. The majority of them, I'm sure, follow them for their acting. And this was like a music piece of content, so it didn't hit the right audience. But on TikTok, the
for
algorithm's
music.
amazing. It hits the right
Right.
audience. It's people who are hungry for music. And it just, yeah.
Bananas.
How much do people actually make from streaming?
I mean, every streaming service has a different payout. So on average, on Spotify, a million streams equals about $4,000. On Apple Music, I think it's 6,000. On Tidal, it's like 8. They pay out really well. YouTube Music
Big
is
title guy, huge title
you're
guy.
a Tidal
Yeah, I
guy.
have
You're
Tidal.
the one Tidal user.
I
Yeah,
know,
dude.
dude. I
always
downloaded it
one
for
in the
some
room.
reason. I think when Jay-Z originally purchased it,
444. He exclusively put on Tidal.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
remember
may have
that.
been why. And I downloaded it, and I've never left.
Hey, if it works, that's great. I love
Yeah.
Dude
it.
So
loves
weird.
title.
Such a
Yeah.
foreigner.
If you,
It
if you
does the
stream my
same
music
shit
on
as all you
Tidal, thank you.
guys.
That's a foreigner,
We
right?
talk about Spotify, Apple Music. He's like, dude, I listen to title, man. I
Wait,
listen
so
to
are
Tidal.
you saying
1
One-
million?
1
mil-
million
A
streams?
million streams is $4,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's if you own 100% of the master. Most artists who are on labels, the label owns 80% of the song.
I think that's not a lot of money, right?
I mean, I hear this narrative of like, yes, it's not a lot of money. I mean, if you look at YouTube, if you get 1 million views on YouTube,
You're averaging like 4 million streams a month.
right? Yeah, and then you add Apple Music, and it's yeah.
Okay, so when you put it like that, that's different. Okay.
Got 28 million streams in February. 28 times 4.
and that's just Spotify.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. Okay, when you put it like that, it's a little different.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
and
a-
so yeah, when you're first starting out and you're just relying on streaming for income, it's of course, it's not a lot and it's very difficult. But once you get to a point where you're able to, you figure out the way to market yourself, you figure out the way that your songs get streamed, and if you're able to start doing millions of streams a month, it adds
Jeff's
up,
over
and
here doing math,
it is
dude.
great.
I
money.
like. I'm trying to figure out like how people could really like what threshold you have to like hit to be successful, right? Because I think there's like a
Yeah.
there's a metric of devoting your time to it, right? Or being able to devote your time, like someone who's really trying to do it. It's like, okay, hey, look, now I can officially go all in on this
Yeah.
without the support of a huge label
Yeah.
or a massive team or any of that. Like, and I can put this out in my own pace, how I want to, how I like it, still make money to enjoy my life and
Yeah.
not have to worry
Yeah.
about like making money, even though I'm making money, right? And like the numbers of my like living, and just go out and be creative every day.
Yeah.
But that's
It's not
the
easy.
part of this is that's the cloud and the haze, right? Like it's not like you went on like LinkedIn and were like, all right, social media star, it pays this much a
Yeah.
year, right?
You either are or
don't
you're
know
not.
that.
You have to build
It's
it every
either-
day.
And usually the only way you find out is if you actually hit one. You go, oh wait, that's how much you can really make, right? Most people that like really want to get into it or like super interested in it, they go, I don't know what that number is or how do I ever get there, but that finally brings some clarity to it. I think that's awesome.
I think another awesome thing about music, especially compared to acting, is there's so many more revenue streams in music. As an actor, it's like you get paid for. I'm looking at him. We're having our actor talk.
Yeah,
right?
actors over here.
Actor
guys.
talk, my
Drew
bad.
and I'll just go leave.
We'll walk
If
out.
you
My
need
bad,
us,
my
we'll be in the
bad.
sports
for
boat.
sure. Yeah, residuals, like
Yeah.
main check. All that
Right, so it's like the main check for when you work, and then residuals. And if you're lucky to be on a show that like airs a lot, the residuals are great, and that's about it. It's like you don't own the rights to your character, you can't sell merch with your character on it, or stuff like that. In music, if you're an independent artist, you own the master, you get paid for the streaming. If you write your songs, which I do, you own your publishing because that's the copyright of the song. So if someone were to cover one of my songs, completely do a different rendition of it, but use my lyrics, I would get paid every time their song is streamed. So that's a whole different revenue stream. I can sell merch with my name on it or my company logo, whatever.
lyric. Yeah.
You can.
That's
of
a
course,
double
of course-
whammy, by the way. You need to go into a show, get them to use your music, and star in the show.
How crazy would that be?
That'd be
and that's
insane.
another thing. That's a sync deal. If you get your song used in a video game or a TV show or a movie, they call it a sync deal. There's huge money in that.
I'm manifesting the double dip for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How cool would
You know
that
what I'm
be?
saying?
Like,
Like,
act-
that
double
would be sick.
dip. The double
acting in a
dip is the
scene while
goal.
my song's playing in the
Yes,
background.
let's
That's-
go.
That's a flex. Yeah.
That's hot.
Yeah. That's let's manifest that.
That's it.
Him and one guy for a character that was a rapper. Not too long ago.
Yeah, see that, and that would be cool if I get to play a rapper and something. Yeah, maybe the stars will align.
Spotify versus Apple, is there a big thing for you guys that like makes the bigger difference for you? Like when you see TikTok blow up, you see Apple blow up or Spotify blow up?
So the way that it works, just because so many more people are on Spotify, because Nick and I have like compared stats on this, is about however many streams we have on Spotify, it's about 1/4 on Apple Music.
Got it.
Yeah. So if we get like 1 million streams on Spotify for a song, on Apple Music it's sitting around 250 or so, just because less people are on it. But
It's funny because
but Apple
podcasts are
pays
the
more.
opposite for us.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Apple's number one.
Oh wow.
by far.
Yeah.
Oh cool. Interesting. Yeah. I personally use Apple Music, but I know way more people that use Spotify, and one person that uses Tidal, and he's in the room.
It's crazy. Doesn't
Well,
make any
because
sense.
Apple Podcasts, if you remember, like podcasts were an Apple thing for so long, right? And Spotify podcasts came on much later.
Okay.
So a lot of people had that dedicated Apple Podcast app. And
Yeah, that's what I use,
That's
so.
exactly, that's essentially what everyone has stuck with. So for podcasts, at least for us in particular,
Interesting.
it's difficult now, I think, when you measure success, right? Because we have like, you know, YouTube, we're trying to drive the YouTube now to catch up with our audio, and the Apple and Spotify situation just kind of goes out everywhere. So it's interesting to see how people digest your content or just the clips, right? Because like even you, right? Like the streams are important, but like I think people are still engaging with your music if they're watching your TikToks. Just like we value anyone who's like, if we like, we're gonna put out a bunch of clips for your episode, right? And if we put out 6 clips for your episode, and yes, that might amount to 6 minutes of an hour, but if people are really like ingesting those 6 clips and like your fans like them and our fans like them, we consider that at least like someone who's really engaged with the episode, right? Like maybe they don't want to dive in for an hour, maybe they didn't have a chance to, or whatever it may be,
Yeah.
but they're interested enough to like check out a highlights,
Yeah.
which I still think we equate to like a really successful piece of an episode, right?
Totally.
Not necessarily measuring just streams.
And you were saying that when you notice a piece of TikTok content get more attention than usual, you'll notice that episode the next day has more views. Is that
Yeah,
right? That's
100%.
great.
For sure.
Always.
For sure.
That's amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Because just like any clips that we do, just like you snippet of your song, right?
Yeah.
If you do a 30-second video and you do the drop or the chorus or a really cool like rap that you think is like monumental in the song,
Yeah.
just like a clip for us, they want to know what the rest is like. And
Totally.
they have to go check out the episode to do it.
Totally.
Or like someone, essentially, we've tried to do a lot of episodes of people who have really great fans, really great stories, people that we like their content or whatever it is that they're doing professionally.
Yeah.
And then they haven't done a lot of stories. They haven't done a lot of shows yet, haven't done a lot of podcasts. So people don't really necessarily know how they got there, why they got there,
Sure.
how it happened. We've been really successful with having a lot of people on this show who haven't really told their story in a big way yet, right? Like
Gotcha.
they've done little snippets or a lot of content in one niche, right?
Yeah.
But where did Connor come from and why was he a child actor? Like
Yeah.
even going through your content right now, like someone doesn't really know that story, and then
Yeah.
ideally, hopefully, our fans attach to it, and then your fans get a more
In-depth,
inundated
yeah.
look into who you
Yeah,
are.
that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
that's just kind of the creative way that we've seen things be successful on social media, translating to like full episodes, you know?
That's awesome. I'd love to ask you too, because we're pretty new to this independent podcast thing that we're starting up. You guys are over 100 episodes in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to me, or like what is one thing that like, oh, you wish you knew earlier on? Just if you had any advice to share as far as just like creating a successful podcast.
I
He
think,
flipped the switch on us real quick. He's now
Yeah,
interviewing
yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no,
I-
No, it's good.
It's really good. I think we have 2 things. One, I think you're very different than us because you have a more particular, very niche
yeah.
audience. So like measuring success for that is different than how I think we measure success because we have a lot broader of a net.
Right.
Right. Like athletes, entertainers, artists, influencers, chefs. Like we've had tons
Everything.
of people on the show, so it's a bit wider of a net on how we measure it.
Yeah.
But I think it's really kind of feedback, right? Like just like your content gives you the feedback of what's working and what doesn't.
So you're looking at every comment, you're seeing what people are engaging with. all
Yeah,
that,
and we're
All
seeing
the
what
time.
episodes are working, what episodes don't work. We saw a lot of, I think people equate, like what you said about Idris Elba and Courtney Cox dropping the song on their social medias, who obviously have big followings, right? Just because someone has a lot of followers or is really famous doesn't mean that they really care about the episode necessarily. And I think stories and people not hearing those stories before are what people are most excited for. And then it took us a while to really find out who our audience necessarily exactly was because we weren't niched down.
Yeah.
So it took us more episodes to figure out like the male-female skew, the age skew. Were they more interested in what topics blended between you and an athlete, and an athlete and an influencer, and an influencer and an actor, and so on and so forth, right? Versus someone who's really interested in NFL may not care about what you're doing.
Cool. Yeah.
And someone like that you're doing may not work with someone else. And I think that's where we had to figure that out over time and what the audience were. Like, is your show for fans of independent artists?
No, super niche, like independent
for
artists
independent
trying to
artists.
pursue a career. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that niche is very like finite.
Yeah.
And the quantity of downloads you can get of someone who can really be affected by that content,
Yeah.
I think is really where you now see like the value of giving them advice. And we really also found it difficult. Getting someone to go listen to a song
Yeah.
is difficult, right? Getting someone to do long form content is really
Yeah, it's a lot more commitment. Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot more commitment to the guest, the hosts, the personalities. You know?
Yeah, I think probably the best thing you guys have done is your the way you guys interact with each other, and your personalities are so likable that people have become fans of you. So even if they are, you guys are interviewing someone in an interest they might not be interested in, because you've made yourself so likable, they like you, they want to support the show. So no, yeah, it's
That's
cool.
the idea.
Yeah.
The interaction that we always have with whoever, it always becomes lighthearted fun, and then you can
Yeah.
really see who that person is.
Yeah.
Right, so they get to see like who we are because they've already seen who we are.
Totally.
But they see how you guys react, or the guests react to us. That kind of, they could tell a lot of the guests. do
Sure,
that.
good
So,
point. I like that. Yeah.
And the value for the guests is ideally that we're opening up to an audience that isn't necessarily fully devout to their particular niche,
Exactly.
right? Like
No matter
an
who it
NFL
is.
guest on an NFL podcast,
Yeah.
or a UFC guest, or a hip hop guest on a hip hop podcast,
Sure.
where they know that they're probably very familiar with their work, most
Yeah.
likely. Where this one is a lot of discoverability, or at least that's what we found, where someone is like the crossovers of our fans.
Love it.
Sometimes are surprising, right? Like that people you wouldn't think would care about one or the other.
Yeah.
Which has been fun,
Yeah. Awesome.
But-
Well, thank you.
We now measure it up was like if we think someone's cool enough to talk to for an hour, like
Yeah.
we'll have them on the
Be
show.
like, yeah,
Well,
that's literally what it
thanks
is.
for having me. Yeah.
But it's funny to hear your comments because we're kind of the same thing, right? Like a lot of big shows and big podcasts are backed by a mega media company
Yeah.
or a conglomerate of some type, right? Like, but MGM Resorts is amazing, but they don't have anything to do with the content. Zero.
Yeah.
They just they present our show as a presenting sponsor.
Yep.
But the content is written by us,
Yeah.
produced by us, edited by us. The talent is acquired by us.
Yeah.
All of it
That's
from the
awesome.
top to the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess, yeah,
Yeah, for
the most
part,
I
for
think,
sure.
Yeah, really,
Yeah, technically.
Yeah,
That's how it started too.
yeah,
It
Love
literally started in an office.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Cool.
yeah.
Hanging
just
out.
We
get that- we
suckered
just get
this
that
casino
MGM
into
check
building
now,
us building us a studio.
Hey,
you know?
you'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
for
awesome.
sure. All right, another curious question that we had.
Please.
Festivals.
Okay.
There are so many festivals in music now. Do you think those are really advantageous for up-and-coming artists?
Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot. I have never done a live performance of my original music.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, never. And that's something we've been like talking about, is like, when do we start that? When do we do that? We've had people like offer and ask me to come, and I also feel like I'm still kind of early in this music stuff, and I'm still making my best music now, and I don't feel like I have a set list of songs that I would be excited to perform.
Sure.
I still feel like I'm like finding myself. And so I've sort of been putting off the performance element, but more recently I've been thinking like, I think one of the downsides of like always going viral on TikTok and just TikTok is it's sort of, you pop up, oh, let me hear the song, throw it on a playlist, cool. They're a fan of the song. I think festivals is an opportunity to really make someone a fan of you. If you give a killer show, you don't forget that moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're like, I love that dude. I'm going to go follow him on Instagram. I'm going to go meet him and get some merch at the whatever, backstage. And you really make like a solid like relationship to that person, more so than just through a screen of like, oh, cool song. So that's something I've been
good
thinking
point.
about a lot more. I think a festival, if you're a killer performer, if you're a bad performer, it could do the opposite. It could make people go, this guy's
This
whack.
guy
Yeah,
is
Like,
trash.
for real. And then those
Yeah.
videos go viral on YouTube. It's like, this guy sucks. But like,
Any
if-
press is good press, right? No.
well, no. Yeah. Yeah. Harvey Weinstein would like a word on that.
yeah.
But if you're like a killer performer and you give a killer show, people don't forget that, and you have a fan for life. I truly think that.
So if you could perform like on anyone's bill, who would it be?
Ooh, good question. Man, like if I could open up for someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or a festival, or open up for an artist. Like you're
Yeah.
about to make that choice, obviously soon.
I would, man, there's so many artists I'd love to just see their process backstage and how they like prepare themselves. I mean, like obviously Drake, it's such a cliche answer, but Drake would be my number one. Also just being from Toronto, I'm a huge Drake fan. Getting,
OVO Fest, come on.
I mean, can you imagine like going out to a festival, and he does, you're right, OVO Fest.
OVO
Yeah.
Fest.
Can you imagine going out to a festival in your hometown with the biggest artist in the world who's like putting you on? That's got to be the best feeling ever.
For sure.
That'd
So
be crazy.
that would probably be my
Solid
answer.
start for your list. by the
Great
way.
start.
Can you imagine?
That's actually the last time I was in Toronto. I went to OVO
Yeah.
Fest.
I
Great
got to, right?
fucking
I
start.
haven't
by the
performed
way.
on music yet, but I'd like to start OVO Fest for Drake.
Yeah, that's hot.
Let me think. Yeah.
Okay.
OVO Fest. Yeah.
That's sick.
That's a, good
Copy.
that's a good question. Yeah.
Where else? You got any others like on your list? Are you looking at some right now? Or would you rather do like a festival show, or would you rather do a smaller show first?
I think I'd love to have the opportunity to open for like a larger independent artist, where I can go on and maybe do like 2 songs, or if I have a song with them, like do our song, just to kind of like what Caitlyn is doing with Russ is so cool.
I mean,
She-
it's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
the coolest transition that you've ever seen from someone doing like a.
That's
Yeah.
got to be like the goal for somebody from the social media world to get into.
But by the way, it's happened a few times. Like the what's her face, Gail,
oh yeah, the
who did the
ABCD. yeah.
ABCDEFU song, went crazy. Billboard top 5, touring now. The other one who's opening for Madison Beer, Leah Kate. I just did research on this the other day for like like another thing that I'm booking. Like just blew up on TikTok, completely. I thought it can definitely happen, right? Like,
Yeah, totally.
is this like this year thing?
I mean, yeah. If I was in Caitlyn's situation and Russ like invited me on tour, of course that'd be
Yeah,
like a
you can't
no-brainer,
say,
right?
"How does I know that?" For sure.
But yeah, the idea of like doing my own tour and like having to finance that independently. I also hear a lot of stories from independent artists talk about how expensive it is to tour, and especially when you're starting out small and you have these like maybe 300 cap rooms. At certain shows, you're not even like profiting because of how expensive it is just to do it yourself. And so it's more of like that would be more of a play of trying to get those fans and less about making money off of it. And now I'm like,
Well, are you
mean,
the
me
tour
and-
manager as well?
I mean, she could be.
Yeah, now, congratulations on your new job as well. You know what I mean? Your additional title, tour
Right.
manager now.
Right, yeah. I thought you were talking about being a
Mom.
mom, but
Mom.
yeah,
No,
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 tour
that-
manager.
That's like mom, tour manager,
Yeah.
regular manager,
Yeah.
booking agent. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's interesting. He said that when Nick D came on the show, he was
Right.
like, yeah,
He was like, if someone wants to pay me a large amount to come out, do a set, everything's prepped, I just come in and do my thing and leave. He's like, great. But if I have the pressure of like, it's my tour, I have to sell the tickets, I have to market the tour, and he's got 2 kids at home, he's got a wife, he's just not in a space in his life where he feels like that's worth his time.
Or necessary for.
Or necessary.
Yeah.
do you also think someone like yourself and Nick, because there's a lot of independent artists who are not, one, you have a partner
Yeah.
who's very good at helping you.
Yeah.
2, your trial and error has been amazing. Things that have worked, things that haven't,
Sure.
and you've grown a lot.
Yeah.
Nick is a testament to that as well. There's a lot of independent artists I'm sure that you've spoken to who have zero idea, haven't even started. It's really difficult now to start all of that.
Yeah.
And they need to do these festivals to get anyone to see them or things like that. Do you think it's a little bit for you and Nick possibly where it's like, I could do this festival. It could cost me all this money, cost me all this time. I leave my family, or I can just put out a really good video and get 1 million views.
Well, that's what Nick always says. He's like, my For You page on TikTok has way more people than, because his
whatever
videos get
festival.
hundreds of thousands, millions of views. So he's like, I'm getting in front of more people when I post a TikTok every day for a week than going to do a festival. That's the way he looks at it. So
Yeah.
as far as like an artist starting from scratch, getting attention, it's way more likely to happen on TikTok than like
Yeah.
feeling like you need a festival. That's like another playlist thing. People feel like they need the playlist, they need the festival, when in reality, they just need really good music, a solid catalog of songs that they promote with whatever at that moment is the best way to get in front of people, which right now is TikTok. And that's how and respond to every comment, maintain connections with your fans. If you notice a fan really loves you, the day before a song comes out, DM them a link to listen early. Like little things like that. Just make those fans like
Right.
diehards. That's how you get that career. I think the whole idea of like, I need the festival, I need the playlist is really not important, especially now in the world we live in with the internet. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we all expect invitations to your first big, massive live show.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully
for
it's
sure.
out here. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Hopefully it's at the OVO Fest.
Oh, well, right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
you'll
come
be in
to Toronto.
Toronto. Yeah, yeah,
Come to
cool.
Toronto
All
for
right.
sure.
I
We're
love that.
manifesting two things on this episode. One is the ultimate double dip TV show or
Great.
movie,
Great.
Yep.
and the other is OVO Fest.
OVO Fest.
We have a
love
lot
it.
of things happening this
A
year.
lot.
We have a lot
I will
of
come back to this
positive vibes.
episode if that happens, and I'll like do a little stitch, like
Yeah.
how it started, how it's going.
Yeah.
We'll do
Told you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Told you guys.
Great. I love it.
Look, that's amazing, man. By the way, congrats on all your success.
Thank you.
Congrats on all your future success. Congrats on being a new dad.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
From the dads. Yeah.
The dad squad.
And
dude.
Now I feel
Yeah,
like
now-
I'm the one
now-
that's
now I'm over
isolated.
here,
man.
yeah.
Now I'm pulling this way. Now we're in it.
Good
I don't
work.
know what's cooler.
Child
I
actor.
still don't recommend it.
dad.
bro.
Child
So-
actor
so
dad.
hold
Yeah,
on.
child actor or dad. What's cooler?
I think they're the same. It's like,
Okay.
It's sort of
Thank you.
like,
I
oh,
appreciate
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Guys, make sure you check out Connor Price on all the platforms. His music's incredible. His content is incredible. We appreciate you coming on the show, my man.
Thanks.
We'll
Yeah.
talk soon, all right? At the
Bye-bye.
Residency Pod. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.